Conor Nash is on the line. Good morning to you, Conor, all the way from Australia. How you doing?
How's it going, Jar?
Yeah.
How's it going on? You well?
Pretty good. You had a good weekend. You made your debut.
Yeah, it was a great weekend, all right. In a big game as well, and to get the 4 points at this stage of the season is massive for our finals hope. So hopefully we can kick on now and have a good finals campaign.
You must have known a little earlier in the week, I think, that you were actually in the shake-up to make your debut. So what's that build-up like? When do you get the nod? When do you have that conversation? What's that process?
Yeah, so I found out on the Wednesday. I was actually down to a hot springs resort with the family down the peninsula, just bringing them down for a look. And Alistair Clarkson, our head coach, gave me a ring saying would the parents delay their flight a few days because I was going to be making my debut at the MCG against the Cats. So I was actually driving, so it was on loudspeaker and everyone was in the car. So the car erupted after that, and it was a massive build up from there on in.
That's class.
Yeah, it was brilliant, man. Because I had been in the mix a couple of weeks prior, and we thought the boat had gone because the parents were flying home that Thursday night before that game. So for the club to ask them to hang on and what we played the MCG, it was a massive honour.
And for them to share that moment with you as well, it's a special moment in any young professional person's life to be told, all that hard work, all that dedication, the decision to leave home, the decision to turn your back on a bunch of other careers for this one moment, to share that live in person with your folks, it's pretty special. Yeah,
no, like I said, it was a very special moment for myself and the family. Because it's been a long journey, I suppose, and there was it's certainly a different route to what I thought I would be making a few years ago, or what my parents thought I'd be going down. But it's just a bit of a reward for all the hard work that's gone in. And last year I was in a completely different stage. Last year, just coming back from a bad injury, so to get to this stage now is it's very pleasing. All right.
Because if anybody is unaware, there's a couple of other careers that I'm talking about. You could have done medicine in college. You could have played rugby for Leinster. Certainly they'd offered you an academy contract. And also, you're not bad at the Gaelic football too. So none of those doors are closed to you forever, obviously, with the decision to go to Australia. But, I mean, you must in your head have made the decision that you're going to have to go properly full bore to try and become a professional Aussie rules player. So it's a big moment.
Yeah, it was. And it was 2 years ago, I suppose, when I was smack bang in the middle of my leaving cert year. I had an offer. I came back from Australia from a 2-week stint with a contract in my hand, and I immediately told the Leinster Rugby boys what the story was and what was on that side of the table, and they had a chat with me and just gave me a few weeks from to make a decision. So I made a decision then to go the Aussie rules route, and I haven't looked back since. And like you said, if you make a decision, you have to go at it 100%. It was tough times back then, trying to make a decision. You might say, "Oh, Jesus, great as a young lad to have those options on the table," but it was a tough decision in the end, but one I certainly don't regret in any way.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one when you look at the slew of Irish athletes who've gone to Australia. A lot of them have come from a position where their only option of being an elite athlete at home would have been through GAA and through an amateur sport. And I think a lot of times it's very easy for us to brush off the opportunity as one that, they went for professionalism because, they want to get paid to play and all that sort of stuff. Whereas for you, that opportunity was quite real to have that at home, to become a professional athlete at home. So that makes that all the more difficult, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it certainly was. That factor wasn't in my decision at all, because I could have had that at home. But I think the main one that got me over the line down under was just a new experience and a new adventure. It certainly wasn't foreign. I'd been training for a few years prior to that, but to actually make the decision to fly out to the other side of the world and set up camp there and go at a new sport is pretty daunting. But it certainly was that new experience was the main aspect that got me over the line that way. But yeah, it has been fantastic so far.
It's got a reputation as a bit of a family club. I know Conor Glass from Derry is there, and I know you also live with a bunch of, or are you moving in with a bunch of other Irish lads who are playing Aussie rules at the moment? There's a kind of proper community of expats there, as well as the fact that the club kind of look after its players.
Yeah, the club has been fantastic. They certainly made the family feel welcome while they were here, and it really is a band of brothers when you're right there. But we also do have a very tight-knit group amongst the Irish boys. There's probably 7 or 8 of us here in Melbourne, and I think there's 12 or 13 in the AFL and as a whole. But we meet up quite regularly, just whether it's coffee, lunch, or whatever. Like Kieran Byrne, Conor McKenna, Ray Cannell and Dara Joyce. And myself and Conor Glass are actually going to move in with Killian McDade this next season, so November or so we'll move in with him. So we really do, it's not like, they play for different clubs that we wouldn't really speak to them. It's kind of like we want to see all of the lads go well, and to be playing against each other each week. I know when I was chatting to Zach Toohey and Mark Connor after the game there on Saturday. Yes, they'd lost the game, but they were just proud that the 3 of us were right there on the same pitch together. So we really do get on well with each other, and it makes it that bit easier having that support network as well.
The hype video from during the week was released by the club as well. Have a look at this. This is...
Folks realise that the Irish Celtic are doing a tour of Australia at the moment. Just finished their show in Melbourne, about to go to Sydney, and as a promotion for the event, they've got the 3 Conors, Conor McGregor, Conor Glass and Conor Nash, to be draw cards for the show. So these boys have been in there in the last week or so. Conor Nash, Conor Glass, Conor McGregor thought to themselves, well, we could do something a little bit better than that. So let's have a look at this. We wanted to make a feature of that because Conor Nash is playing his first game for the Hawks.
That's amazing. Had you any idea at that point, Conor, that call-up was going to come?
Yeah, I'd known the day before when Clark would call me, and he said just to keep it quiet, just to have, I suppose, that bit of emotion from the lads in the room. But the only people I told was the family obviously were there, and then Conor Glass was the only other one. So we were just kind of hush for the hour or two before that meeting the next day. So yeah, it was pure emotion when that happened, pure joy. So the boys are ecstatic.
Do you do a bit of river dancing in your spare time? Is that something that you've was keeping in character?
Nah. I think we've got up once or twice in front of the lads. I think on Paddy's Day this year we did a little jig, but I didn't do myself justice, I don't think.
How did your debut go? How did you play? Like afterwards, were you happy with your performance? Is the debut really about getting it out of the way so the emotion of that is gone and then you concentrate on your performance, or were you able to actually just concentrate on the performance and park the emotion until afterwards? How did that work for you?
Yeah, that's what was kind of a focus of mine going into the game, was to park the emotion and all the stuff with the family and things like that, was to actually just focus on what my role was. So I certainly did that, and they were very happy with how I went about that. So, yeah, I think that's what a lot of the older lads would have said to me during the week, is just focus on the little things to get you into the game, because once that happens, it's just another game of footy in the end. So that's what I was focusing on, really, and it went well, and I was very happy with how I played. And so we'll see what happens this week with selection and that, but it was great, like you said, to get the first one out of the way is always a big plus.
What's your game, Conor? What do you play?
My type of role?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well, I suppose it's a bit unique in a way in that I'm tall, but I've a bit of speed and about me and athleticism. So It's kind of like a half forward role up and down the ground. On the outside, I know I was playing a lot of wing at Box Hill level, which is the reserves. So it's kind of up and it's like a half forward in Gaelic football, I suppose, or even a half back. But you're just up and down, bring the ball from one end to the other, and if we get the ball in space, just run with it is the main thing. But at the weekend, I suppose, was more laying pressure is a big thing that they like up forward, is that when the ball hits the deck, is that you're able to compete pretty hard and lay tackles. So that was what I was focusing on, really.
And what would your game have been as a Gaelic footballer?
Was definitely probably my run, the same thing, using my athletic attributes. Just probably running with the ball. If I get space, just take it and take off. That was my main one, up and down the ground. Were certainly my attributes, and then from kickouts and that, high feeling. So they're probably the ones I've tried to bring across as best as I can.
Did Colin O'Rourke try and make you were a midfielder for him for Simonstown, was that right?
Yeah, I was, yeah. Yeah, he's played a big part in my Gaelic football career, I suppose. He's tried to play a big part in my rugby career by ending it a few times, but Gaelic, I suppose I've always played midfield with St. Pat's and then Simonstown in the latter years. But yeah, no, midfield was probably always the main one.
And where did you play rugby? What position?
I was fullback, yeah. So it was kind of a bit unique in that I was a tall lad at fullback, but yeah, no, I love fullback. You kind of just stay out of the hard work and pick your gaps and away you go. They were the main ones for me.
Is that a rugby ball on the shelf behind you, Conor?
It is actually, yeah. Up there it is, yeah. No, I stick true to, I've got a Simonstown Gaels top over there in the corner as well. So, yeah, still very much present in my life.
Tommy Rooney wants to see the Simonstown Gaels top there. Can you show us it?
Yeah, I'll grab it here. Hang on.
This is the Meath Mafia making sure that they're represented properly. Tommy got the fastest black card in Meath Championship history. Ah, yeah, very nice. The number 9 and signed. There you go.
That was my last one, signed by all the lads. So means a fair bit. It's hanging up in the corner there.
How was the homesickness for you? Because like we've talked to a bunch of people who have made it out there, and there's just a common theme that it hits and you expect it. It's worse than you thought it was going to be, and then it's over. It never fully goes away, but you learn how to deal with it. Is that the same for you, or was it a different experience, or did you get it at all?
To be honest, I've been very good. I haven't got it much at all. I suppose coming over the couple of years prior, it really helped me. Just getting a feel for where I was going to be living, the people around me. So that was the main thing for me. But another big plus was having Conor Glass there with me as well. Like we live here together in a host family. Who are a lovely family, look after us very well. So I suppose it's been easy that way. And then, like I said, with the support group of the rest of the lads, like they're never too far away. A lot of them here in Melbourne, so we do meet up. And if you were feeling homesick at all, you just flick the lads a text to catch up for whatever. So I think it's not really homesickness isn't really there the whole time. It's more like the events that you miss, like of a lot of 21st this year that I'll miss. Those type of things, but it's never really present the whole time.
It seems that community over there is like having a tangible effect on performances as well, and it's not just you, because it certainly seems that this generation of young ex-rugby players, ex-Gaelic football players, or potentially future again, who knows, that have gone over to Australia have succeeded, that there's a lot of debuts that have been handed out over the last 12 months or so.
Yeah, no, the lads are going very well. We have a great bunch here right at the moment. And yeah, I suppose they're training well, and it really has. It's great to see it. Like any time one of us makes a debut, it's thrown into the WhatsApp group. There's another one. Keep them coming from Ty Kennelly always says that one in. So we just like to see as many boys out there as we can. So it really is a massive thing for us to get one or two of them out there each week.